Hi everyone, very good afternoon. We are back, we are live on Carnation Crafts TV. I hope you're having a lovely lunch if you're having it with us. We've just had our jacket potato and tuna, very nice.
Very nice.
Jacket tuna and baked beans,
Blech.
very nice. You like baked beans?
I don't like tuna.
No, okay. Well, yeah, we are fed and watered, and we're back with part 2. This is the second live show of the day today. We're always excited when it's launch day. Just to let you know, if you are brand new to us and you found us either on Facebook or on YouTube or indeed on carnationcrafts.co.uk, we do this once a month. Now, you might think to yourself, oh, I see Carnation Crafts lots of times on this channel, other channels. This is the only time of the month that we do a brand new exclusive launch. And I was so chuffed when Carnation Crafts, the guys, Mark and Nick and Carla and everybody said, we'd love you to come along once a month and do a special exclusive launch. That's what it is today. I know literally hundreds and hundreds of you have already purchased this. There was a sneak peek yesterday with lovely Carla on Facebook Live. You dashed to the website, you ordered it there before you even saw the prices and so on. And then we did the launch show about 2 hours ago. Well, if it's the first time you've seen it, it's with compliments. That's what it's called. And this is the collection. Now, when you look at that on the top row, you think, what's that? Well, let me show you. This one just here, how many years have I been doing this? Is your beautiful owl. Look at that, with that beautiful background, as you can see there. That could be obviously the plumage of the owl, but it could be anything. It could be anything you wanted it to be. Then, in the middle, my personal favourite is the stag. And you don't necessarily see that until you see the finished card, and you can see just how gorgeous that is with that beautiful geometric background as well. That is your stag, and all the vignettes, the artwork, you can print them off right now for you. And then the last one is the beautiful lion. Now, if you've got someone that you're really proud of, or someone that's overcome something or achieved something special, what does that say? Again, these images, you can print them off right now free of charge from the Carnation Crafts website, carnationcrafts.co.uk, and they're in 2 different colorways as well. All the artwork printed off now, but order your collection while we have the stock. 221001 is the item number. Just after the little Facebook Live yesterday, 25% of the stock went. We're now well over 30% of the entire stock gone on the day, and lots of you I know watch this live, but then also watch it back a little bit later too. And then the collection at the bottom is part of the whole collection. You're going to get what I certainly love, watches. If you've got a watch fan, what guy do you know that doesn't love watches? You've got your superhero. You've got your thistles and ferns. You've got your gorgeous little mouse that's perched on top of those very precarious books. And then at the end, a bit of a cheese and wine get together with your steak there as well. So in other words, there's a bit of a hint to masculinity with this, but there's nothing to say that you can't be using these for ladies' cards, of course, as well. And my particular favourite, the stag, that would definitely be, and is going to be, I think this year, the Bradford family Christmas card. Perfect for that. Lots of you agreed on Facebook as well. That is it with compliments collection. Already loads of you have ordered it. I've got to let you know that we've got a very good deal going on, because as a reward for you watching this live, we've got a fantastic promo code, which is there, CCWC10. And I, for one, whenever I get to a website to check out, and if there's a promo code box there and I'm thinking, I haven't got one of those, I feel a bit left out and a bit gutted. There it is, there's yours, CCW10, CCWC10, beg your pardon. That will take the price down then to $98.99. You can pay in full, or you can pay with PayPal Pay in 3, or ClearPay, up to 4 interest-free payments there as well. And also, we always give you free P&P at Carnation. If you're paying over £50 or something, it's free postage for you. If you're in the USA though, it's $4.95 for the collection. And if you want to add perfect papers or pro paper, something like that into your order, then your P&P will be $14.95 if you're in the USA. That's all the housekeeping done. I want to quickly show you though, I have shown you some finished samples and finished cards already. Lovely Carla, the host with the most, is here with me.
Are you?
Thank you for lunch.
That's quite all right. It was my absolute pleasure to put a jacket potato in the microwave.
It's the only time of the month that I actually get fed and watered.
I do feed you very well.
You do.
You come here. I just said, much as it was never my intention, I've suddenly become a housewife and a mother. I was always a mother, but still. I'm just going to comment here. So Rachel has said, hi everyone, just bought my first Carnation craft of this collection. Men's cards are now sorted. Question, how do you print off the images? Thank you for your question, Rachel, because it's a super important question. So you go to the Carnation Crafts website, and that is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. There is a banner menu at the top, and one of the options is downloads. You click that, and then you go to free downloads. When you click on free downloads, on the right hand side there will be a little box that you can fill in that says collections, and you just type in the name of the collections. This one is obviously with compliments. You click that, and a number of PDFs come up.
There
you will notice some of them have say free, a couple of them might have a price point on them. That's up to you. It's just a different colorway. All the free ones, so the ones that you're seeing today, they're all free. You just put them into your basket and you check out with them. And they're, like we say, completely, absolutely free.
And can you see there's backing papers there as well? Keep forgetting to mention that. Not just the artwork, the vignettes, but backing papers that will complement.
Inserts, everything you need for your cards, they're all there. Once you've got them downloaded to your computer, you're going to open them up. And the best way to do that is with Adobe. So right click on them, open them with Adobe, and then you print them. And you print them usually at actual size or 100%. Sometimes there's a little bit of wiggle room depending on your printer. And you print them, if you can print them on Pro Print paper. Honestly, it's the best thing you can do for yourself. If you don't have it, don't worry about it, but the best printing paper that you can buy. So I would suggest Pro Print. If you're using Pro Print, there is a right side to print on and a wrong side. The right side is smooth, the wrong side is rough. You print it onto that and then you cut the dies out with that. Some of Carnation Crafts dies have got a black line across the middle. That's a mirrored vignette. You're going to fold it on that black line. You're going to spray glue the inside with a bit of mount spray, something like that. Pop your die on top of that image, put it through your machine, and it will come out double-sided. So and I'll show you them in a minute, but you'll have an image both on the back and on the front.
And Carnation Crafts were the first company ever to do mirrored vignettes, and they could also be left and right, not just back and front. So think of them that way as well. And by the way, if you can't run to the whole thing, I mean, we're all very well aware at the moment, got to be careful with the pennies. You can select any one of these items on the website. Absolutely, free to do that, no problem at all. If you just fall in love with, like I have, the stag, you just want that one, they are all individually itemised and available on the website as well. But you will pay P&P if you're paying less than £50, which would be £2.95. Otherwise, if you spend over 50 with your own kind of combination of a bundle, you won't pay any P&P. And that code that I gave you, CCWC10, that applies to anything in this collection or related to it. If you want the perfect papers, you'll get your 10% off as well if you use CCWC10. Now, when you see the boards, that's when I think you can really appreciate what these dies can actually do for you. Carla, they're gorgeous.
Because they're beautiful. So we'll have a look at this collection so you can see what you're getting for your money, and I'll explain some bits to you as we're going, just so you can see how to use them, and then we'll show you that in full through demo. So the first one we've got here is this gorgeous, gorgeous stag. I'll move that across so you can see it better. So this is Stan. He's very beautiful, and he's got this geometric shape next to him. So you can see there's two different pieces on this cardstock. So they work independently, they work together. It depends how you want to craft, and that's what's amazing about this collection, because we get to play the way we want to play.
I'm just thinking as well, if you do sell your cards, not only are you guaranteed to get a really good price for cards that you make with Carnation products, but the stag at the moment, if you look at in gift shops and things like that, stag cushions, stag pictures, prints, canvases, they're everywhere. Everyone wants a stag, so these are going to fly.
Well, these are a really good size as well, so you're looking at the idea of being able to make home decor projects with them too, so you get that. Do you want me to tell you how big they are? Hold on, because Miss Taz brought me a ruler, because she is my carer and she looks after me. I can only do it in centimetres, but he is about 18 and a half centimetres there.
Beautiful size.
So really, really large dies. So basically with these, you can piece them together in different ways. So where we look at this die here, you've got splits down the side there and splits down the side there. These pieces at the end are independent. That means you can cut them and you can elongate them. So if you want to put that end piece exactly where that is, that's what you'll get, which is that this is here. If you want to move it though, you can move it, you can't see my hand, but right across, and you can have that piece much longer. And the same goes with these. You'll notice these don't have those end die pieces because you use these ones. It's the same, they work for both.
Just thinking, if you did the double, the mirrored vignette, you'd have a left and a right stag, have it as a gatefold card, and their noses could touch.
Oh, they will have a little kiss, and you could take the horns off one of them. You could have a lady and a gentleman. That would be very lovely. So basically the point is, suddenly the crafting process in here becomes yours to do with what you want, because you are now absolutely in control of your die. You'll know if ever you've been die cutting before that you don't have control. That's up to the company that make them, because that's the size of the die that you've got. We now have options that we would never normally have, and that's incredibly important. And like I said yesterday, as a crafter, that's incredibly empowering. So there's Stan. He is the beautiful stag, and he is gorgeous. And then we go on to Clive, the owl. So Clive is like a totem pole, and he is very, very handsome. He's got that really powerful image, isn't it?
I love the way the kind of lines flow.
So you've got that S
Curve,
shape
yeah.
where the wings go around. It's just breathtakingly beautiful. Again, where you see these curly dies coming here, that's the edge here. Move it across. You can have it as long as you want to. Same goes for this. You can have it straight or you can have it as long as you want, and that's incredible. His little face, as with all the others, just fit within this shape here. So his little face goes in the round if you want it to. So if you want to place the two together, you absolutely can.
If you cut that that half circle out twice, that will make a complete 360
Yes.
circle, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. And it's almost an oval shape when you cut it, because obviously you're matching those strips together, but it depends how big you make that strip. So it can be bigger as well. So really, really beautiful. Yvonne says, I've looked out my tartan papers to go with the stag to go to family on Christmas cards, especially for those who now live abroad. I love the thistles too, especially being Scottish. Absolutely. I like that it's got both elements. So you've got that kind of movement as well as it being masculine, as well as it being Christmas, as well as it also having that little Scottish theme running through it, which I think is beautiful to have. So that's Clive, that's the owl. And then we move on to
pride.
Philippe de Roy. Philippe de Roy is our beautiful lion, and he is just breathtaking. That artwork is incredible. His little nose fits in that same thing. Again, make this as long as you want, make this as long as you want, or cut him out completely just using the die. So get rid of this extra element here, make this super long and pop his nose in there. It's up to you what you do with it.
That is such a strong looking image. Think of, you know, anyone that has made you proud, anyone that's achieved something, anyone that's been absolutely strong for somebody else, you know, all those reasons to kind of celebrate and say thank you are appropriate with that image.
It's just stunning, isn't it? There's something about him. Then we move on to the other elements of the collection. So those three main card shapes are obviously the showstopper, if you like, but then we've got these extra elements in here. We've got the little mouse, and I love him so much. And what I didn't notice for ages and ages and ages is, obviously I love all the books and I love the little candle, but just next to his bottom he's got a flask.
Oh, I didn't see that before.
He's got a little flask for his hot chocolate on a night time when he's reading his books, and I just think that is super, super cute. So that is the Carnation mouse. Obviously, it goes in with all those books. It's a lovely whimsy. If you want to see that in action, if I don't get a chance to demo it in this show, it certainly was in the show previous, so you can catch up on YouTube.
And of course, if you are brand new to Carnation, you may not be aware that mice are an integral part that run through quite a few of the former Carnation Crafts collections. If there's any available, you'll find them on our website, so you can look back at previous collections if you want to, but you'll see the little mice creeping in literally into lots of other collections, so you can mix and match how you use them with this collection too. Everything kind of works together with Carnation.
It does indeed. Then we've got this really beautiful board here where you've got the bottle of wine with the corkage, and that obviously can be cut off and put into that cork. You've got your Stilton, you've got your bread, you've got your platter, and then you've got your steak. Who'd have thunk?
Chateaubriand.
Eh?
Chateaubriand.
What are you saying to me?
That's the best fillet steak. I had it on holiday. Never had it before.
Was it amazing?
Oh, melt in the mouth. Yeah, yeah.
You know I love me a steak. That's a me and Doris thing steak.
We should go out for one. All three of us.
We should go out for a steak. I love it. And then you've got your big piece of cheese there as well. Now it all comes together in this really kind of beautiful, like a dinner party almost. It's just, it looks random, but it works so well. It is just gorgeous together. So they're going to come in all the way through your crafting. I always say, I've said it a million times, they're the building blocks. Carnation don't do different collections. They do one collection that grows, and that's how we see those collections that come in. We just add those collections into them as a building block system. So when we look at these as independent pieces, you know you're going to be able to use a bottle of wine in loads of cards. You know you're going to be able to use the cheese. You know there's so many ways of going through. So bring all of those collections together.
And also the lovely thing is, if you've missed a collection or two or three or four or whatever, it doesn't matter if there are gaps in when you've been buying your collections, because they'll all still work together. Whether you've got 5 collections, whether you've got 55 collections, they will all work together beautifully. Now again, case in point with this is such a versatile die set to have. You've got your thistles and you've got your feathers.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got your little pins, you've got that rope, and you've got your ferns coming through as well. This is super pretty. Now, one of the things that I didn't get to show you earlier, I might get a chance to show you later, because we've got the cut lines so well defined within all of Carnation's dies. These, if you cut them in the middle, and then you cut one leaf off, so we've still got that tall stem at the top, you can all just kind of place it in and make almost a bouquet. So you don't need to have that full length. If you cut it off just say there, yes, it still looks amazing, but it looks like it's missing its top point, which is why I always cut that one off as well, so I still have my top point, but that's personal
If you cut those multiple times, could you make a lovely wreath?
Yeah, you could absolutely make a gorgeous wreath with them, and in those colours it would be amazing. If you did a wreath with the thistles and the feathers going round, you could make some incredible just from this board here.
Christmas decoration for a
Christmas
mirror
decoration,
or a door or something?
Beautiful, absolutely stunning. Great for, if you have a Scottish family, great for your Christmas nameplates as well. Then we've got your gorgeous watch here, and I love this so much because it's sort of unusual, right? It's weird to see this kind of thing in a die collection, and it's an amazing piece to have for the men in your life.
Well, pocket watches, yes, but wristwatches, not so much.
It's definitely masculine. These are definitely masculine watches. I love masculine watches, and I do, if I'm not wearing my normal watch, I do wear masculine watches. And I can say Miss Tiztaz, who's sitting not too far away from me, has got something on that looks very, very similar to that. So yes, it can still go across the feminine, although we look at it and we visualise it as masculine. Lots of us women like those chunky kind of things as well. I love chunky jewellery. We've got enjoy every second. Perfect. Now, for those of you who are sitting there thinking, when would I ever be able to use a watch in a card? The minute you add that sentiment to it, you've got a reason.
Yeah.
So that's the point, isn't it? It all comes together. So it's perfect for lots of uses, not just for, you know, what we've said about retirement and such.
Then every family needs one, a superhero.
You're my superhero, Mr. Bradford. So you've got them in two colourways here. Now, lots of the images that we get in this collection have got two colourways. So the animals, for instance, have got monochromatic colours as well as their full colour. This chap has got the gold cape, and you've got the, obviously, the plum sort of colour as well. You're my hero. You're our hero. You're my hero. It's such a strong message. And you can't get a better sentiment than that for a man, I don't think. You're my hero, but also for women too. So if we were to take away the superhero, you could just say, you're my hero, and use that sentiment alone. So it's going to come in.
Imagine a dad getting that from their son or from their daughter. I mean, that would be, you'd never...
Imagine a son getting that from the parents, and how much pride they would feel in that as well. So there's so many ways, isn't there, of doing that. But I love that. I think that's such a strong image. And we are going to look at him in the show today. I'm going to do a demo with him. But that is your main collection for with compliments. We do have another couple of boards to show you, which Dave's just going to show you the main die, and then I will show you the board.
Because this is something that's not included in the main collection, but it is very much available if you like to go for it. Now, this is all about versatility. When you want to tell someone the way you feel about them, having the right words is the most important thing. This is problem solved. Complimentary words. We've got thank you for being so, and then you fill in the blank. You can actually, if you want to, handwrite a sentiment, but you are going to get all those beautiful fonted letters. Charming, kind, great, brilliant, helpful, handsome, strong. All those positive words. You make me feel so, and you are so. Wonderful, wonderful to have all of this, and they're all separate dies. Now, this is $44.99. And it is, of course, 221011. That's the product number for this. Now, this is plus P&P if you buy it on its own of $2.95. If you buy it with the main collection, you can bundle the orders together, and you won't be paying P&P at all if you're in the UK, because it's over £50 spent. But really clever. I love the decorative font on these too.
Beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah.
I like the fact that you've got the choice of both, because it's got that really beautiful sense of the cursive going through, then having that little gap that we can put our own sentiment into, and then also we add in that Roman font that we're going to come to in a minute, which is very strong. So you are so. Thank you for being so. You make me feel so. Why do I keep wanting to say you make me feel so brand new? You make me feel brand new. What song is that from?
You make me feel brand new. It's a stylistic song, isn't it?
I don't know. I can't get the music from it in my head, but I could just keep seeing the words.
I can sing it.
But anyway.
But I won't.
You make me feel so. Unfortunately, the sentiment doesn't say brand new. I wish it did. So this is what we've got. Loyal, charming, wise, handsome, brave, generous, thoughtful, and great, brilliant, smart, talented, beautiful, kind, helpful, strong, clever, and loved.
And they've all got the mats and layers as well, haven't they?
Yeah, both. You get a mat and a layer with these. Normally on sentiments you only get the one. What I'll say about that is, while I'm here, you can already tell when it's on the overhead, because you can see the shadows. And that's what happens when we add in extra layers. We start to get those shadows and it makes them pop. You can see that they pop. They are incredible. And just to show you from above, look at that.
Oh, wow.
So that's
Three-dimensional.
how we really start to see that coming through. They are just incredible. I love this set. We knew it was going to sell well. It was obviously going to go because this is something for every single card that you ever make in the future. And I will say, if you just use the white pieces and you use them on a white background, and hopefully we'll get to do that in demo as well, without using the mats and layers, they actually look like a letterpress because it looks embossed.
Yeah, it does.
Or debossed. It's so clever. They're so lovely.
Now, Linda Wilson's been on Facebook. She says, love them all, but I have to say the thistle is my favourite, being Scottish. Absolutely, thistle's wonderful, isn't it? Can I mention one more thing? If you're tempted by the dies, maybe you've already bought the dies last night or today, we have got the perfect papers. Now, whenever we bring out a collection at Carnation, we always make sure that there are the perfect combination of cardstocks available to complement it. So if I just put the lion there, for example, if I then also bring in the beautiful owl so you can see all the colorways, you can see that that matte and layer at the back there has been used using the perfect papers. But you can be rest assured that your card is going to be perfectly graded in color. Nothing's going to clash, nothing's going to kind of jar, everything's going to work together so beautifully well. As you can see, really good thickness, 300 GSM, lovely strong cardstock, 6 colors, 8 sheets of each. It's only another $14.99 into your order, and it's going to make sure that all of your vignettes that you're probably busy printing off now from your printer at home, they're all going to work so well color-wise with the backgrounds that you use. 221012 is the product code. Remember, if you want that as well, if you're in the US together with the main collection, your postage, shipping and handling will be $14.95. If you add it into your order and you're in the UK, that will be free P&P, because basically you've spent over £50 if you're buying it with the main collection. And lots of you I know buy multiples of this. This is something you will run out of. The dies are indestructible. They're going to last you hopefully a lifetime. These you will probably regret not buying a couple if you haven't already. 221012. And also, have you got other collections that you maybe have perfect papers of? If you run out of those, check the website carnationcrafts.co.uk, because all the previous perfect papers collections that are available will be listed on the website as well. Okay, now we're doing 3 live shows today. I know the times have changed slightly. We're on 1:30 and then again at 3:30, so 3:30 to 4:30 will be the third and final show today. So we had a bit of a technical error at the beginning of the day, so we corrected that and moved the time slightly. That's why we're doing it. All right, Carla, demo time.
Right, let's do it. Let's do it. Right, I want to show you about going big, because normally we do 8x8 or we go smaller, and I want to go bigger because I want to show you the power of those card shapes, just as an example of what you can do with it. It's a mighty big piece of card. I actually don't know what size it is.
That's not far off A4 though, is it?
It won't be too far off. It'll be narrow, I would have thought. So that's 25.5 by 19. It's not far off A4. So we've got a big space here, okay? And I just want to show you how this plays out. So same thing as always, we're going to score at 1/2 inch, and we are going to make that fold line. We're going to put the red liner tape on. You're going to hold that against you so that fold line comes towards your body. Shuffle, butt it up, push it down.
That's the easiest way to do it.
It's so quick, isn't it? I love making card bases. They make me happy. And then we're going to go, look at that. Love that colour. We're going to go in with some perfect papers. Now, normally speaking, when I'm working with mats and layers, I have a tendency to put, just personal choice, the darkest at the back and then bring the light forward. I just like it that way. But because we're playing with things in a different way, I'm going to go the opposite direction for this card, and you'll hopefully see why as I'm going through. So, I'm going to take this and I'm just going to pull this off if I can get hold of it. You will occupy yourself while I attempt it. And then I'm just going to pull these side panels across. And then we are going to just place this and try and get it on top as we do. And we're going to push, and then we're going to pull those pieces away. Look how beautiful that is. That's already beautiful, isn't it, right? So I'm going to work with this at this side. So I'm placing it so we're on that side. I always find it easier for some reason to put my panels on lengthways. I just find it easier. But just to show you where I'm going and make sure I get this the right way around, I've then got this where it's got the owl shape to it. Now this is another way we can use that die. So you've seen it cut in two, and now we're seeing it cut together. That's one piece. Okay, so you're seeing it now, instead of it being that one half with the lion, or with the owl, or with the stag, or with the geometric and two separate pieces, you're now seeing that cut as a whole. Can you see now where we're going with these dies? That massive change that we've got in every single card that we make with this collection. And that's so powerful. So if I wanted to, I could cut that at that and just have that as my panel if I didn't want to use the owl. Or I could cut that at that and just use the owl and use that. So many options, it's mind-blowing. Then we're going to take our tape from here, and I'm going to try and pull this off. I'm just going to pull the whole thing off and try and get this in the right place. Just bear with me. When you're at home, just take a little bit more time. Oh! It's also really sticky now as well. It's super sticky, and I cannot get the backing tape off it. Right, so I'm going to try and place this as best as I can without putting my head into shot. So about there, okay? Pretty, right? Look at those coming through. Now, if I was to put, I know we said about this morning, but even more so when we're using those darker tones, if I put that on there, I'm losing it. I mean, it looks like it's lit up on a night time, but I'm losing it, and I need to bring that forward. So what I'm going to do, just to tone it down, is just pop a white panel in the center on the top of that. And that's just going to give me that lift. And it's going to give me, if you watch as we do this, you'll see that suddenly we get a relief from the eye, because you can see all that dark toning. As soon as I put this down, pop, and place it, you get that huge visual relief. Okay, and that's just so that everything that stands on top of it is going to have that relief in it. So I'm going to take Clive.
Do you make up their names?
No. I do.
You're telling porkies.
They wouldn't call it Clive. They would come up with really glamorous names.
I mean, look at that double vignette though. You've got colour on the back, colour on the front, left or right. Brilliant.
Yeah, we were talking before, weren't we? I think it was Rachel that said about how to print them off. So I was saying if you use that black line and you put spray mount in the inside of it, you pop your die on top of it. If you're doing that on a 120 Pro print, it'll come out as a 240, which is what this owl is. And what that means is I've got him that way, but I've also got him that way. And just to show you, if we can, before I shape him out, if I was to use him, ignore that piece for a minute, well, we can place him on, and that's where he'll be going. He'll be sitting there on the edge of my, look at that.
Brilliant.
He'll be sat on the edge of my card. Do you see now why I need the white behind? Yeah. You see how that breaks that up? But because it's a double-sided vignette, what I could do, theoretically, is put him in here. I can use either. You wouldn't obviously have that panel there, but I get to choose because I've got a mirrored vignette, so I can do whatever I want with him. When we only have it on one side, we have to be dictated by the company that make the die, because that's the only way we can have him facing. I can choose, and I like that power.
I'm just thinking, you know, if you've made handmade cards in the past and you've thought to yourself, oh, I wish it looked a little bit more professional, what you've got with Carnation is just pure class.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't look handmade at all, does it?
No. Now, when we're breaking the fibres in paper, you all know this, but we start from the outside and we work our way in. Now, I've got choices here because I can just do his whole face, but owls' faces don't do that. So what I'm going to do is just shape out his head, follow that line, and I'm following where Nick and the team have put that artwork for me because they've already sorted that. Then I'm going to go through and I'm going to do his feathers. So I'm just working my way. I could sit and do every single feather individually if I so chose. We don't have time in demonstration, but at home you can. And I'm just bringing that down now, following those feathers. You can kind of hear it clicking as I'm going, as those fibres are just breaking through. Then what I'm going to do is turn him over. I'm just going to pull him forward on those pin lines, and then I'm going to do his face on the opposite side.
Yeah, so we've the owl's faces all go in, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to put that protrusion that goes out here, and we're going to put the rest of it in. So you're making the difference. And if you want to, you can take the trouble to do his eye on the other side as well, because that will make it stick. But make sure you use a smaller ball tool just to do that. And then we get this amazing, gorgeous kind of transformation for where he is. And it's just that 3D poofing that we get.
And think about if you've got glossy accents or glossy highlights, any of those products, that would give him a lovely shiny eye. That would look amazing. Thank you for all your input today. Linda Wilson says that, yep, yeah, you're right. The stylistics, you make me feel brand new. Yeah. June Mitchell, she says, hi everyone. I know we've asked for mail cards and dies, but do you think Nick might do a Supergirl? Why not? Cool. That could be cool.
Listen, when you ask the question, they hear it. So I can't say yes, but when you ask the question, they hear it.
All right. So we can also honour our mums, daughters, nans and sisters. Thank you for this collection. June, it's been noted, and I'm sure all the guys at Carnation are listening. So watch this space.
So we now have him sitting there. So basically what I'm using him for at this side is as a decoration. I've got a decoration at this side and a decoration at that side. They're my two endpoints, and then I'm going to decorate the centre as the difference. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So it's just about bringing it all through. So we're taking this platter first of all, and I'm just going to put a wee bit of pin flare into here, just not much, just a little bit, just so it sticks. And I'm placing it at the bottom. Why do we place it at the bottom, Dave? Grounding devices. So we need that grounding device. So if I have it floating in midair, it's not going to make any sense. So I'm grounding it on that line just so that it's got a reason to be. Otherwise it's going to look very, very bizarre. Then what I'm doing here, I've got one bottle and I've uncorked it. And one bottle where it's still corked. Mm-hmm. So you've got this idea that we're already sitting and we're having a drink. And again, I'm not going to do much with these. One of the ways that we can shape out anything that is a round shape like a bottle is use your fingers.
Right.
Fingers are always going to be your most powerful tool as far as any crafting device is concerned, but certainly with paper sculpting, it can just be enough. So we're just working that round shape out. And I'm just doing it around my finger just to give it kind of that puffiness, okay?
Nice.
So it looks like it's got that 3D. Then I'm going to go in, pin flare that up, enough so it comes to the same height as the top. Mm-hmm. So my pin flare, can you see? I'm matching height. That's just so it doesn't sink in the middle at any point.
And pin flare does dry rock solid when it dries.
It does. I fixed a trolley with pin flare the day before yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
I know someone that's had their registration number on their car fixed.
Yes.
Also a wine rack. My wine rack in my old kitchen where I used to live, that broke the wood and pin flare fixed it.
Casters, I fixed a caster with pin flare the other day as well.
What, on a trolley?
On a trolley, okay. And I fixed my lampshade. I actually used it to piece together a broken lamp as well.
Wow.
So because you can wipe away the excess.
But from a crafter's point of view, once that is solid, leave it for like overnight or a few hours to actually dry. But if you're posting a card like this, the last thing you want it to do is collapse. Pin flare glue will keep it nice and solid and rigid.
More so than foam tape, because foam tape's got to give, it squeezes shut, if you like, because obviously it's got air and things in it, but with the pin flare it doesn't. Once it's there, but you have got to leave it 24 hours. It's just got to give it time to dry out. So with the steak, now I can shape the steak out. I'm not going to. I've got to tell you, if I was going to shape the steak, I wouldn't necessarily be using a ball tool on it. My personal thing as a pepper sculptor is that I would go in with my pokey and I would just simply roll the edge just to give it just a bit of oomph on those edges, and that's all I would do. And it just sort of curls the top round and it just gives it a different look and go round the whole thing. So that's what I would be doing. It's up to you, again, what you do, but I just like to play.
And also, I'm just thinking back to previous collections that Carnation have done over the years. This steak and that wine may be appropriate in a collection further back and in the future. So, all these collections are designed to be not standalone, that they will work and mix and match with all the previous collections and the collections in the future. That looks good.
Good enough to eat, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just going to place that there. Now, I don't like my end point here. I'm not enjoying it, okay? So I'm going to fill it with a big cheese. I love steak and cheese together.
Steak, wine and cheese. Mm-mm.
I like a steak and cheese sandwich. Mature cheddar, extra mature cheddar.
That's a posh beef burger, isn't it, really?
Pretty much. In a baguette.
Oh, yeah.
With some butter. Hence the fact that my bottom is the size of England. Then I'm just going to place that there. And I'm just going to then pop these little Stiltons, and I'm just tucking them in, as you can see, just at an angle, just so we've got that full platter that's sitting there. Ooh, nom nom nom. Place it in, and then I want one more finishing touch. And the reason I want a finishing touch, I've got a heavy placement of this owl on this side, so I need to give something to this side, in my opinion. Because yes, this is beautiful and you've got that span, but I have got this space here. This space, this white space, makes sense because of the owl, but this one doesn't.
See, I think some people sometimes get a little bit worried and scared of white space. Yeah. Don't be.
Oh, white space is amazing. It's my favourite thing. But sometimes we just need to take care of white space. This white space is going to relieve the eye. I just need to give this something. Otherwise, I would have butted, well, nearly did. I would have butted all of that up to that side, and it would have made more sense to have had it at that side rather than leave that space. So it's just about making sense of your space. So I'm going to take my wee dauber, just put little bits of wet glue on this, and we're going to do that letterpress effect. So I don't have any mats or layers on these.
And this is from the Complementary words collection that I showed you earlier on. That's also available today, brand new.
Now if you're doing this at home, here we go. I was just going to say use tweezers. It'll make your life a lot easier. Now I can choose where to place. I'm probably going to go in roughly central, put that T.
If you're thinking white on white, that's not going to work. Yes, it is.
You get your letterpress.
Look at that.
So make sure it's not too skew whiff when you're doing it at home. But what I've done is I've borrowed the space. Because it's white on white, I've borrowed the space. I haven't dominated it and I haven't taken it over because I've got enough going on the card. So I'm just borrowing the space from that side panel. Do you see how I mean? So it's got that letterpress effect. It's as if it is embossed into the card or debossed. Probably better so if I don't have little bits of Phyllis on it.
Well, the Complementary words, Phyllis is your
little
furball. Yeah, if you want those complimentary words, they're on the screen now for you, 221011, and they're $44.99. You can buy them on their own if you want to, and I'll just hold them up again so you can see, get all those words, loads of them, and there's space as well for you to actually hand write a verse if there isn't a verse that you particularly need. But I think you'll be covered with most things. They're charming, great, kind, brilliant, talented, clever, beautiful, and many, many more. $44.99 plus your P&P. But if you add them to your order with the main collection, your P&P is taken care of. Linda says steak and chili cheese sauce.
Ooh, now you're talking.
Now you're talking, Linda.
But not so that it's so hot that you can't speak for the next. I don't like it when it makes my lips feel tingly.
I do. I quite like it hot. Hotter the better. Okay, let me remind you of what you're watching. I'm Dave Bradford, by the way. Lovely Carla Bagshaw's here as well, and the lovely Tistaz is in the corner. That's your team for Carnation Crafts. Most of the launches that we show you here, the three of us will be here on day one. There'll be more shows tomorrow and the day after as well. But this is the launch officially today. The earlier show between 1:30 and 2:30. This particular, oh no, it was between 11 and, that's right, 11:30 and 12:30. Now we're on until 2:30, and the next and final show will be 3:30 to 4:30 this afternoon. But it brings to you the With Compliments collection. Now I love the fact that all of these work together, but they also stand alone. I mean, that could be there, for example, a stained glass window. It could be a doily. It could be a peacock's tail feather. It could be obviously the feathers of the owl as well. But you know, you could paper piece those, make it look like a stained glass window if you wanted to. There's loads and loads of options with this one. That's the Edge of Wisdom. Then we've got the Edge of Grace, which is by far my favourite of all of them. I love them all, but this is my favourite. Anyone that knows me knows that stags are my favourite thing. I just think it just looks majestic. And if you wanted to, like Carla said, you could snip away the antlers and have a male and a female, have a left and right looking stag and deer if you wanted to, with those double-sided vignettes.
Great
so
for the stag do cards.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But also for your mixed media and your home decor as well. Lovely size of stag. And of course, all the artwork is there for you to download and print off right away, absolutely free of charge if you go to carnationcrafts.co.uk. Then we come on to the pride, the lion. On this card that's been done by Lindsay, you've combined the superhero and the lion together. Perfect combination, brave and strong. That could be, I don't know, overcoming something, achieving something, getting over something, whatever it might be. The image is always going to be appropriate. And those images, by the way, are in 2 different colorways, and they're free on our website right now for you. You've got like a monochrome and a full color too. So all of these you're going to get any collection, plus the second row. Now there's our superhero, and we'll have a little chat to Nick about maybe doing a Supergirl in the future. The watch I think is fantastic, whether it's maybe someone's been, I don't know, doing something like a race or a time trial or anything like that, it's appropriate. But I think most guys I know love their watches. You've then got the thistles and the feathers in the middle as well, thistles and ferns. You've got the fantastic mouse balancing on that rickety pile of books there as well. And then finally at the end, your corkscrew, the bottle of wine, the steak and the cheeses. The whole thing is just $109.99. Now do remember, it's been a while since we put the discount code on the website, on the screen for you. Here it comes. It's CCWC10. What's that? You put that into the promo code box and then you'll get that 10% discount, making it $98.99. But that's only for you because you're watching this show on Carnation Crafts TV. If you order it and you haven't been watching the show, you won't know about that promo code, so you'll be paying $109, whatever it was, $109.99. So $98.99 for you today, breaking that £100 barrier. It's also on interest-free payments if you want to spread the cost of it interest-free with PayPal Pay in 3, and on ClearPay up to 4 interest-free payments. That's there as an option for you as well, and free P&P because you're spending over £50. Quickly, before we go back for another demo, because that's what it's all about, I'll show you some more cards. Sue, beg your pardon, not Sarah. Sue Darimple's done this one.
That's gorgeous.
That is gorgeous, isn't it? Perched on top of those books. And again, you know, the mice have consistently run through many of the collections over the months and over the years. So you can add that into lots of other collections that you've already got. Here comes the Wise Owl again. Pam Simpson's done this one. How beautiful is that? Oh, and that's using the half circle as a full doily.
It is indeed. Isn't it beautiful? It's like
Stunning.
lace.
Absolutely stunning. Now this one, this is when I was talking about like gatefold cards and things like that. I know this isn't technically a gatefold card, but it could be. Lindsay's done this one. Be kind, be generous, be thoughtful, using the feathers. And again, the left and the right, that's because you've got the double-sided vignettes. And this one doesn't use any of the characters at all. This is basically the watches, the wine glass, the steak. I mean, this is maybe the epitome of a good night out to celebrate someone's birthday, maybe in your household.
Hey, dude, that's a good night in.
Good night in, good night out. Yeah, just a good night. Or good lunch. Lindsay Atherton's done that one. And again, you've got the 2 watches there with that wonderful slap-up meal in the middle. Enjoy every second. Fabulous. Now, if you do want the perfect papers, bearing in mind you're spending £100 on that collection for a few pound more, it's going to mean that you've got everything right colour-wise. It's going to mean that all the artwork that you're printing off and enjoying right now, I mean, I had so many messages before we came on air earlier today saying that they'd watched the little tease, the Facebook Live with Carla last night, and went straight to the website and bought it, and it was dispatched straight away. This is what you'll get. You'll get an email notification virtually probably within minutes of placing your order that it's been picked, it's been packed, and it's actually been sent. Many of you get what you order the next day, which is amazing. So this is the perfect papers, colourways to match and work with the artwork. Let me show you with this one that I just picked up. The perfect papers have been used in the background there, but you can see the yellow of the watch, the red of the wine, the steak colours, the cheese colours, all those colours work with this palette. So for $14.99, money very well spent, and it's 221012 if you want those. And remember, it's free P&P if you spend over £50 in the UK. If you're in the US, the collection will be dispatched for $4.95 postage. If you are in the US and you want the perfect papers or pro paper, which obviously weighs quite a bit, your postage then will be, or shipping and handling will be $14.95 if you're watching us in the USA. Okay, but add it to your order in the UK, you won't pay any more P&P, because of course it's free P&P for you in the main collection. All right, got enough time for one more demo. Remember, we're live until about another 10 minutes or so, and then we're back again for the final show today between 3:30 and 4:30, a slight change in time. Right, Carla?
I'm having a right maft on, so if I start to, overheat.
You having a waffle?
It's the age. Can you just pass me that card that you just looked at with the squares?
Yeah.
So one of the things that you'll notice about this card is the fact that we have got on it a wine glass, and that's not part of this collection. Obviously it goes perfectly with the bottle, but it's not part of this collection. Have a look at your other Carnation collections and work out what you can bring in. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think that's from Especially For You, where there was a tankard and there was various other things. There was a star card, there was all of those little pieces in there. So check out the Carnation website if you want other things that will go with this collection, because they will all work together perfectly. I'm pretty sure and I could be wrong, that especially for you might be the perfect collection to go with this one, but check it out. I think it is. I think it is.
I suppose also, if you've got like a fine liner pen or something like that, you could actually personalise that bottle of wine. You could actually put someone's name on the label if you wanted to.
You could indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. So one of the things that we can do with this card shape, obviously, as you can see in front of you, is make a card shape from it. So one of the easiest ways to make an over the edge card with this is to cut it in one piece, which you've got in front of you. So you can see this is where the lion's snout is. You can see the shape of the lion. Mr. Philippe Duraud is going to sit here. Yes, Mrs. Taz.
It's from Simple Pleasures collection.
Simple Pleasures. There you go. I can't remember my own name most days. I'm just impressed that I remember that there was a collection called Especially For You, if I'm honest. So all we then do is, because we've moved that end die, that one piece, and we've moved it backwards, we can make it this big and then score, and that's going to give us our card. Yes, Miss Tiztas.
It's from the Loving Hands collection.
What is? No, there's what it might be, yes, but there are wine glasses in more than one collection.
Well, the Loving Hands has got champagne.
Yes. Bring them all in. That's the answer to the question. So on this panel that I've got here, which is going to be the insert of my card, because I don't want it all to be white, because I'm going to have this hanging over, so I do want some colouring there for you. Lindsay Atherton says it is especially for you. Who made the card? Who made the card? Lindsay?
Lindsay, thank you.
I love you. Thank you. It was Lindsay's card, and Lindsay is saying it is especially for you. That's because I know my Kylie and Jason. That's
Thank goodness you're here, Lindsay. Thank you.
Very, very appreciative of you, Lindsay. Thank you. That was kind. Right. So what we're going to do here is take this panel up to the inside. Just leave a little border. Not too much. And get it as straight as we can.
It's like a caramel colour, isn't it? Really
it's
lovely.
So nice, that colour. I'd like a jumper in that colour. It's really
absolutely.
pretty. So then we have got this going over the edge. So you can see it's just as it is. I'm going to put another, but this time I've got foam tape. Obviously on that one I can't have any lift because I need the card to shut. On this one I can have all the lift I want. So I'm going to raise it up. You know I like my chunkies. And there we go. Okay, so we've just got our base ready. It's all good to go. And then I've got Mr. Philippe Duraud just ready to go in here. And he's going to sit very proud in that spot.
I wonder if there is a Philippe Duraud in existence.
Philippe Duraud.
We'll have to Google that later on, see if there is one.
He would be a very handsome lion if he was. And then I'm going to take this backing off. I've got him on foam. I'm going to lift him. I want the shadow from him. I want the drama from him, because he is going to be my little emblem at the side. Let me try and get him straight. There we go. I just want those little pieces. So I've still got that. That was lucky, wasn't it? I could have done that 1 millimetre behind and that would not have closed. So that is very, very, look at that. Isn't that just so beautiful? Now what I'll say from this point forward, it doesn't actually really matter what I do with this panel, because I have created all the drama I could possibly need just by having him there. So this is the joy of this whole collection. We know that a lot of this is going to be built just by those basic elements that we've got. So how else do we bring other stuff in? Well, let's look at this. I'm going to use this, which is obviously from the steak and the wine, but I'm going to use it as a log. And I'm going to use it as my grounding device as well, just because it will bring it in. And this is going to be a fairly quick demo. This is how quick these cards are to make up, but they're so powerful. So we're going to place this down. I'm just raising it slightly, and I'm just touching that base to base at the bottom. And it's just going to overlap slightly at that side. Now, if you're posting this out and you want to make sure it's exactly flat and that is the only excess for your envelope, then obviously you're just going to push that towards that line there. It doesn't matter. It's only a tiny element. Just visually, I like it going across both, but it can be either or. And we're going to go in with some decoration here as well. So the next thing I'm going to do is use the ferns. This blue against this brown is just delightful.
And again, this kind of frosty colour, the light blue and the white, will be good for your winter cards as well, and even Christmas cards.
Now, I have set my demo up so that I was going to use 2 of these, but I want to show you what I mean about cutting into those ferns. So I'm going to change my demo up slightly for you, just so you can see. So where I've got this fern sitting here, you can make more use of it. So instead of it just being that long piece, I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut it, I'll cut it there in that centre point, just as a piecing, and then I'm just going to get rid of one of my edges. Listen, you can have it like that, but to me it looks kind of odd. I don't know why. I like mine to be pointy, so it's entirely up to you. And I haven't got the best scissors to be doing this with, but I'm just going to trim this, she says. Trim this down. Let me get hold of it properly.
So you want to point at the top, yeah?
Yeah, there's something about it being on kilter. Right, when you're doing this at home, use more precise scissors than I'm using. But now, if I piece that and pull it forward, and if I can trim a little bit more of that off, just like so, pull it upright. It kind of looks more finished to me. Yeah, do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just about sort of building it up in that sense. Now, what that means is I can create the most awesome foliage. I've got my long piece. I've got my shorter pieces that I can just tuck into that pin flare. If I'm canny with this, I can leave them free and easy at the top.
And remember, you know, this doesn't have to be just 1 or 2 stems. You could actually make this into a fantastic winter wreath if you wanted to, or not use the vignettes and actually colour them in yourself if you've got your alcohol pens or whatever. It's entirely up to you. But the vignettes are there, the artwork's there for absolutely everything that you can print off now. Just search for the artwork at carnationcrafts.co.uk.
I'm just pushing all of this into the pin flare and making sure I get it even, roughly, and I'm putting it all to one side. So you can see we're curving that way. Again, if you don't want it off the edge of a card, absolutely feel free to cut it off or use the one that faces the other way. I like it the way it's going. I'm okay with it. Obviously, we all go by our own tastes and our own designs. So I'm just going to place this last one in, and I've created like a really beautiful piece of foliage at the side of the card, which I love, love, love. Then I'm going to take the big man.
Now, what I love about this, he looks like an ordinary everyday guy, but now he's got his cape on. He's a superhero.
What do they say? Not all heroes wear capes. But I love the fact that he does. And we get to choose between that golden colour and that plum, and I'm going to choose the gold for him. Now, I don't want him to be too far overlap because I don't want him to distract from the lion. So I'm going to make sure his arm rises above the lion's ear as much as possible. And it's just a technique to allow the majority of the lion to show. But it also means that he's slightly over the edge too. Bit of pin flare on him. So where I place him, I can just slide that. Make sure his feet are touching, otherwise it's going to look like he's taking off, which would not be too unusual for Superman, but still. Place him there.
Wouldn't you love it if capes came into fashion? I'd love to wear a cape.
Well, you should just wear one, Mr. Dave
Why
Bradford.
not?
You don't have to do what other nobody is the boss.
Might get a few odd looks down the high street, but
well, as somebody who wears some very odd fashions myself, I can't really comment on anybody else's dress sense because I have some of the worst dress sense going. Right, I'm just doing this. I've cut away another Superman, and so I've got the decoupage element of his cape.
okay.
And I'm going to build him up. If I can just get this off. I think this new foam tape is going to be the bane of my life. And watch the 3D come in. So we're building. Place that on top. See how that now comes back out of the card? But his head wouldn't be that flat if his cape was that far out. If you're, think of your decoupage carefully and think of it as a visual. If you are extending the cape, the head has to come out too, because the back of the skull is obviously further back than the rest of us.
Yeah.
If you look at a human from the back, it's the back of their skull that protrudes the most on the whole body, unless it's my bottom.
Just think about what sticks out, and that's what you need to make more prominent with the decoupage.
Yeah. So you can do as many layers as you want, but I'm going to just elongate his head as well. Now what that does is gives me this incredible shadow. Can you see the shadow of his head coming around the side here? Isn't that crazy good?
It's those little bits of detail that make all the difference.
And so just making sure I've got that exactly where I want it. I'm going to pull out some of my foliage now, just so I can have it over the edge.
You know, some people, they become superheroes when they go into phone boxes or whatever. No, that's his tree trunk. That's what he stands on. When he stands on that tree trunk, he becomes a superhero.
He gets all of his power from the tree trunk. So I'm just placing these over to the edge, and then we'll have a look at that from the front. Now, if I was sending that as a card to somebody and I wanted to write a sentiment in it, the likelihood is I would put a white panel on here as well, just so that I've got a place that I can write, because I think that's nice. Often when I'm doing cards, I don't tend to write in them. I will attach a note inside, and that's just something I've always done. But the point is, you can do either. If I was going to send it just like this, I'd put a white panel on the inside just so I could write. But how beautiful is that? This collection is crazy good, right?
It is a great collection, and I'm just so chuffed that you're loving it. This certainly is one of my monthly highlights when I come and launch a brand new collection with the team, with Carla, with Taz as well. So I just want to show you again some of the fantastic cards that the team have made, the design team. And this one is using the little mouse, but snipping into it. There's always loads of snippability. You can make those books look as if they tumbled over if you want to, using that beautiful, almost like a peacock feather background there, which is in with the owl. So that's the background you get with the owl, and the mats and the layers as well. The stag in the middle, another firm favourite, which lots of you are buying separately actually, and you can do that. All these are available individually or as one big bundle. And then the final one, the Edge of the Pride, that is of course the fantastic lion. If I just quickly show you all three characters again, there's the owl. Next one, where's another one of the lion? There we go, that's the lion that we showed you a few minutes ago. And then the stag is there. And do remember those backgrounds, those beautiful background dies, they are completely standalone if you want them to be. You don't always have to use them with the actual characters that are coming with it. So lots of versatility. And then all of those fantastic dies at the bottom, on the bottom step there, you get, of course, the superhero, you get the mouse balanced on the books, you've got the feathers, and of course the thistle, you've got the bottle of wine and cheeses, and the watch there as well. The whole lot, $109.99, but that's if you don't use this. If you use this, the promo code CCWC10, there it is, give it a tickle, it appears, CCWC10, that will give you 10% off, taking it to $98.99 with either 3 or 4 interest-free payments, depending whether you PayPal Pay in 3 or ClearPay Pay in 4, it's up to you. And don't forget the Perfect Papers as well, they're available for an extra $14.99 plus extra P&P if you're of course in the USA. If you're in the UK, you can add those in without any further P&P at all, free postage actually if you go for the main collection and the Perfect Papers. 221012 is your item number. Well, that's been our second show of the day today. Remember, a slight change to our advertised times. We'll be back at 3:30, not 3 o'clock, 3:30 this afternoon with show number 3, right the way through until 4:30. You can get in touch and follow us, of course, on Facebook, on YouTube, and also at carnationcrafts.co.uk. Cheers, Carla.
Thanks.
Thank you, Taz. We'll be back in about an hour. See